Hi guys, I really didn't want to make this video, but to be honest with you, I think this needs to have a bit more exposure, and if I can help in any sort of way, then I will do so. So, as I previously reported before, rest in peace XXX Tentacion. XXX Tentacion's sister claims the rapper's murder was set up by members of his inner circle. In her first interview since his death, Ariana Onfro reveals how only a close associate would have known where he was going at that time he was gunned down, and now she wants justice. The sister of the slain rapper, we're just going to call him X, believes his murder was set up by a member of his inner circle and reveals how she has been banned from visiting his grave for speaking out. In her first interview since the hip hop star was tragically gunned down in Deerfield Beach, Florida in June, Ariana Onfro, 22, told Sun Online his death was most definitely an inside job which she believes was carried out for financial gain. Ariana says the day her brother was killed was the worst day of her life. Four men, Derek Williams, Michael Boatwright, Trevon Newsom, and Robert Allen, were charged with his murder, but Ariana remains convinced that someone close to her brother must have been involved. So essentially, these four people uh, were charged with his murder. I don't believe that they murdered him, to be completely honest. Sickening. Um, when a celebrity passes away, you'll get a lot of people who will make out if that person, if it hasn't been identified how that person died. You'll get a lot of people who will make out that they had something to do with it because they believe this is somehow going to give them financial gain or clout in some sort of way. People like that are just disgusting. But anyway, it was definitely an inside job because who knew, she said. Somebody that was close to him knew where he was going to be at that exact time and in that exact pace. He didn't make any big announcements. I'm going to be here to get a bike or something like that. There's someone on the inside that knew he was going to be and the exact time he was leaving for the murderers to know when to come and to do what they did. It was definitely a setup. X, real name Jose Onfro, was killed on June 18th this year. Rest in peace. While X has been involved in a fair share of controversy, including being jailed in 2016 for robbery and assault, and later being arrested for false imprisonment and battery on a girlfriend, Ariana says at the time of his death, her brother was trying to change and she doesn't remember him being in any type of controversy with anyone at that time. Ariana is now urging the four people charged with his murders to come clean about who out of her brother's inner circle may have given them the inside info. I want them to come forth and be honest as to who gave them the insight, she said. Who let you know where my brother was going to be at that time? Who made the order for you? Four men to go out there and kill this young man. For what? Why? What were you promised? So here's a picture of Ariana and Josiah at her Sweet 16 party. He looks completely different there. What could have been more important than someone's life? What did they offer you, to be honest? I want justice to be done. I want the person that made that call or text or spoke to someone or whatever chain of command they went through to get these people to kill him to be brought to justice. That's what investigators should be looking into. Here's another photo of Ariana said while she and her brother were close as children, some of her inner circle tried to keep them apart when he became famous, probably because they were more focused on trying to take his money. This makes me feel sad because X was such a good guy. Ariana, who shares the same father as X, said she has fond memories of her younger brother growing up together with him, where he would come to her dance recitals, high school football games, and go for trips to Disneyland and the beach. The rapper, real name Jose, lived with Ariana and her mother from when he was 3 months to when he was a year old. After X was taken care of by various other family members, Arena tried to see him as much as she could, even though they lived in different areas of South Florida. When their father was sent to prison, when they were aged around 11 and 13. They found it harder to see each other, but remained close. 4 people are currently charged with X's murder. However, once X began to make music and become famous, she said, he became surrounded by people who didn't have his best interests at heart and tried to keep him away from me. My brother needed someone around him that was going to let him know when he was wrong or right. I knew he didn't have that around him, an adult figure in his life to tell him, you know what you're doing is not okay. I felt as though a lot of people are just there and waited for the next opportunity to get what they could get from him. Ariana is pictured here with her brother and her mother, who cared for Josiah as a baby. So they allowed him to do certain things that weren't the best for him. I feel as though if I was around, certain things couldn't have happened the way they happened, and I think that's maybe why he kept his distance from me in a way. He would reach out and I'd always be there, open, waiting for him. My brother wasn't perfect, but he was always trying to change. Ariana said many people were using her brother to make a profit or for some other personal gain. I've witnessed that when he had nothing, nobody, and I mean nobody, cared besides me, she said. I would be calling to help get my brother from an abandoned building or wherever he's run off to, and they just didn't care. I'm 45 minutes away. They were always 10 minutes away. They didn't care to leave their home to go see where he was. So in this picture, as you can see, X was 14 years old, and apparently he had a great sense of humor. He was a very funny guy. So she continues by saying, they would think he's lying or putting on an act, but this is blood, this is family, and we all see that he's going through something. But me, being a year and 7 months apart from him, there's only so much I could say to him that actually got him to listen. But I knew that what I know, but if I knew what I know now, I definitely would have continued to be that annoying sister and make sure I was always there regardless of those that were trying to push me away. Heartbreakingly, Ariana reveals the same people that tried to get between the siblings while he was alive are now stopping her from visiting her brother's grave. Well, I believe that them people are disgusting human beings and they should keep their noses out because she is his actual sister. For fuck's sake, she's grieving. Why can't she see her brother's grave? What is wrong with people? Ariana is not allowed inside the cemetery where her brother is buried. She was told during her last visit to his Boco Raton cemetery, which is open to fans and members of the public, that if she came again, she would be arrested for trespassing. Emotional, Ariana now has to grieve for her brother outside the private cemetery and ask friends to lay flowers for her. She has also been told she won't be allowed to see her nephew, X's unborn son, with an unknown woman. She plans to fight both rulings through the legal system. A fan sits outside where X is buried, but his sister has been told she is not allowed in. I can no longer visit his grave site due to them trying to do anything to break me down, to keep me fearful of them. Tearful, Ariana says, it's evil. What did I do to them? Why do they want to go as far as to try to hurt me in these ways? My brother's gone. What more can I do than just visit his grave site, just to sit there and talk to them? Why be so evil and wicked to the people or the person that was there for him most of the time when others weren't? X said in an interview before he didn't have the parental figure in his life at all from both sides. And a lot of the time, I felt as though I was trying to be that for him in a way. I felt a lot of people know that and are fearful of that. And to say that they're going to keep my nephew away from me, my unborn nephew, they're going to continue to keep the legacy going, that hatred, that evil, that dysfunctional, that chaos, that anger. Whatever they're going to tell my nephew, I just hope that one day he becomes a man and realizes who I am and what I have tried to do. This is disgusting. So she had to ask a friend to lay two roses outside the grave of her brother. Why are people doing this? Ariana plans to fight the decision to bar her from the cemetery and her unborn nephew life legally if she has to. Ariana describes the day of her brother's death as the worst of her life and recalls the shock of discovering he died via social media while she was at work. She was then even more shocked to receive actual footage of her younger brother being shot to death in his car. After hearing the dreadful news, Ariana packed the things and headed back to Florida from Washington, D.C., where she was studying. When I landed in Fort Lauderdale, I went to X's home for the first time and I saw all these unfamiliar faces. Ariana wants her brother to be remembered as a legend and a genius, and if there's anything I can possibly do to help that, I will do because I was very inspired by X. I'm in my brother's home and I'm looking at people like, who are you? And they're like, who are you? It was just a very eerie, weird feeling. It was a lot of emotions just to be in the home of my brother and he's not there with me to show me around or things like that. It was the worst day of my life. I went into his room that night and I could feel him there. I just laid down on his bed and I was in so much pain mentally and physically. Now, Ariana, who has her own YouTube channel, says she is determined that no feuds come out of her brother's death and that people focus on his music legacy. She also plans to set up a foundation in his name to raise awareness for mental health. I want him to be known as a legend, as a genius, not just a rapper, but not just an artist. You know, he had the mind that was so complex and so different from what we're seeing today from people in his age group that are doing the same things as him. For his fans, I want them to remember the positive things my brother had left behind. Remember him as a young man who was trying to change and didn't get a chance to. But you guys have the power to make the change. And I 100% believe that, guys. We need to continue to send positive messages about X and about what he was trying to do and the fact that he was a very positive, influential person who was trying to make a change in his life for the better. And he was trying to be there for all these people that were around him. Unfortunately, he was gunned down by some sick, disgusting individuals who decided to hate on the fact that he was trying to change his life. I'm really saddened to see this. I think this is disgusting that she can't even visit her brother's grave and she can't grieve properly. I'm really glad that she's made a YouTube channel. I hope that she's made videos and she spoke out about this. I am now going to go and search her YouTube channel, and if I find it, I will promote it because I believe that X was a very positive person. I believe that his music resonated with me, and I believe personally that the people that done this to him, I hope justice gets served. Thank you for watching another episode of GMG News. I'll see you all soon.